All right, this is going to be a little dark.
Oh, dark. All right. How exciting. Let's dive into darkness.
Okay, I wanted to talk to you about human shame.
Human shame. It's really a shame that humans have shame. Because you don't have to.
Let me explain.
All right. Explain your shame on the plane in Spain.
So it feels like to me that I took the quote-unquote spiritual knowledge so far that all of a sudden I hit a wall. And it's like, oh, you also have to conquer your personal power.
Well, not conquer, but align with.
Right. And in doing that, it's taken me down this pretty dark journey.
Such as? For example?
Well, for example, the shame. So,
yes.
Exploring shame, understanding shame.
Yes. So that you can let go of it, yes?
Yes, but what I'm having a challenging time with now is I see it everywhere. It's like, it feels like I feel everyone's shame.
When you explore something, you see it everywhere because you're on that frequency of exploration. But so what? You're learning about it. How can you not see something if you're going to learn about it?
So it's okay to have an experience where you feel so out of alignment and you almost don't even see the people you love the way you want to.
Yes, it's okay if you're using it for a positive learning experience. So as long as you are not allowing yourself to get stuck in it, so to speak, by worrying about the fact that you're having the experience, you'll use it in a positive way instead of a negative one.
So how would you imagine I could unstuck myself?
I just told you. You understand that you're doing it for a positive learning experience. And then you'll have an overview of it rather than feeling immersed in it. You'll become more neutral as an observer of it without necessarily having to take on the qualities that you're observing. Unless you want to do it to whatever degree you need to, just to understand what the experience is like. But you'll still understand that that's why you're doing it. It won't be something that you're unconscious of doing. It'll be something you're conscious of doing for a reason. And therefore you'll remain relatively neutral or objective in the exploration. You won't get caught up in it.
Okay.
So you have to look at it that way.
I feel that I do see it that way, but it still seems very scary to me.
Then you're not looking at it that way. But again, you can understand it's all right to be scared if you understand that it's a temporary experience for learning. Let me give you an analogy.
Okay.
Do you like roller coasters?
Yes.
Are you temporarily scared when you're riding them?
Yes.
But the ride is over at one point, isn't it?
Yes.
Did you have fun being scared for a while?
Yes.
Then you're on a different roller coaster, that's all. You're on the shame coaster.
I just can't imagine what type of person I'm going to be.
That is the issue. You can't imagine it, but you can. You just need to let yourself imagine how it could be used differently and what you could learn from it in a positive way. So when you say, I can't imagine it, you're stating that as if it's a fact. It's not a fact. It's an opinion. It's a belief. It's a perspective. It's not a fact that you can't imagine how it could be something that you could learn something positive from. You can. But you are not believing that you can.
I think for me, it's being able to see the person I'll be when I come out of it.
What would allow you to do that? What kind of perspective would you have to adopt that would allow you to have the kind of perspective that would work for you when you come out of it? Use your imagination right now.
Okay, ask the question again.
Thank you.
Wait, can you ask it again so I can give you the answer?
Can you use your imagination to imagine what it would look like and what it would feel like to come out of it with the lesson learned and then move on? Can you imagine seeing yourself do that?
Yes, I would imagine I would be more like you.
There you go. Then why don't you just be more like me? And then you'll be able to do it. All you have to do is imagine the version of yourself and see that version of yourself doing it, and then do what she does. Behave as she behaves, think as she thinks, feel as she feels, and you will be her.
And it's okay that there might be a little bit of a process?
Process is the entire point of why you're having a physical life. The process is the point. As you've heard on your planet sometimes, the journey is the destination. It's the whole reason why you're having a physical incarnation. Because you want to experience the process of change in order to have a deeper appreciation of it. So the process is the point. Whatever's happening at the moment, there's nowhere more important to be. Be in the process. That's the whole point of why you're experiencing it. To learn from the process. To change yourself and discover something new about yourself from a new perspective. You can't have a new perspective and a new discovery if you don't have a space-time process of some sort. Now, true, on the spirit level, it's a lot less, but on the physical level, it's a very specific kind of space-time process that allows you to have the experience of discovering something new and feeling that you have changed. If things were timeless, there would be no change. Yes?
Yeah.
So in order to experience the grandeur of change, the great ecstasy of having made a breakthrough, a realization, a revelation, you have to have a process of change.
So I'd like to expand on that a little more, if that's okay.
Of course.
So one of the aspects that I've been exploring that I feel both excited and also really uncomfortable with is shame as it pertains to people who have committed what we would say as evil or bad. Or...
All right. Let me stop you there for one moment because we need to clarify something here.
Sure.
There is a natural vibration within you that is a self-correcting mechanism that urges you back into alignment with your true vibration, your true self. You can interpret that sometimes as shame. But if it goes longer than about 15 seconds, it's self-judgment. And that's where you start having the difficulty. But natural anger, natural shame, which may need different words, is really nothing more than an alignment process, a realignment urging, an encouragement to go back into alignment. Now, if somebody doesn't do it, and it continues, it can develop into the kind of self-judgment shame that you're talking about, where then it simply becomes a cycle of self-judgment that feels like an entrapment. But if you understand that the origin of that feeling is simply a realignment process to what is really true for you, and you don't negatively define it or judge it in that first 15 seconds, you won't actually go into the negative form of shame, of self-judgment for having felt out of alignment. You will simply go back into alignment instead of wallowing in the fact that you went out of alignment, which is self-judgment, which doesn't allow you to align. Does that help?
Yes, it's synchronistic because I wanted to ask you about perfectionism.
Well, you're perfect as you are right now. In the next moment, you will be a different kind of perfect. But whatever you are right now is a perfect version of what you are. So you can't be a more perfect version of what you are right now. When you change, you will be a different version. And that version will be perfect for what it is. But perfectionism in the sense of self-judgment, again, goes back to the idea that you're not good enough as you are.
So what permission slip would you give to me or to humanity about this judgment and this realizing it's okay to come out
All
of
right,
alignment?
there are many different kinds, of course, of permission slips that you could find yourself attracted to, but I can give you a very, 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 very basic and very simple one if you wish.
I'll take it.
Get over yourself. Get over yourself. So what? That's the mantra. All right, I went out of alignment. So what? I recognize that now. Is that what I prefer? No. Do I prefer to go back into alignment? Yes. Done.
So where does all this seriousness come from?
Where does all?
The seriousness come from?
It comes from having been taught to believe that you're not worthy.
All right. So smart. Thank you.
So are all of you if you would just pay attention to yourselves.
I just wanted to add one piece.
Yes.
That whenever I'm confused or lost or I have a question, I just ask myself, what would Bashar tell me?
And again, your higher mind will answer you. Yes?
Thank you.
You're welcome. The being you called Christ's message was, you are all Christ's. Mm-hmm. The idea of follow me is be like me, because you contain everything I'm showing you.
When your Jesus said, I am the way, he did not mean follow him in a religious context. He meant be the way I am, because you are that way. So, the idea also is for all of you to understand that this is what the so-called second coming actually is the awakening within each and every one of you of your own Christ consciousness, your own Buddha nature, your own Krishna spirit, your own holy Vavoka. All of that is all who you are, and you've created reflections down through the ages to guide you, to remind you. But because of the disconnection in your consciousness, it didn't always take. But a few people here and there would get it. Until such time as now you have arrived at a place where you finally are beginning to understand
that he was misunderstood in his day.
Very much so. Still misunderstood to this day.
And the Bible, I'm thinking, isn't an accurate translation of what he was trying to
Not
teach
always,
us
no.
and tell us.
No. Much of what, in that sense, that individual was teaching is very similar to what you are now understanding in what you call your metaphysical age. The idea is that simply people back then couldn't understand it. But to put it in a more fundamental sense, Yeshua, or as you say, Jesus, really did not intend in any way, shape, or form to create followers, intended to create leaders, equals, did not intend to create Christians per se, intended to let you all know you are Christ's. That's the greatest misunderstanding of the information. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. So much of what you're understanding today is the idea that that individual was teaching, even down to the concept of how powerfully your beliefs create your reality, yes?
Yeah.
Because did not, in that sense, at least to some degree, the Bible quote him as saying, it is your belief, it is your faith that has made the difference? Yes? And did it not also say that when Yeshua even went back to his hometown, because people there only knew him as a carpenter and did not believe in the things that other people said he could do none of those things in his hometown. And the Bible says so very clearly. You understand?
Yes.
It's all about the idea of your belief system. It's all about the idea of what you know to be true. It's all about your actions, all about your alignment. This is all that individual was saying, and that's what he meant when he said, I am the way. He meant be this way. I'm the example. I'm the way. Be like me.
Good day. Speak up, speak up.
Hello? Hi. There are countless stories of people, even devout Muslims, having profound experiences of Jesus, leading them to convert. At the same time, there are also demon-related experiences, particularly within the industries like music, where the idea of selling one's souls for fame persists. Based on the concept of a soul's journey by Michael Newton, which suggests, much like you, that we choose our human experiences from the soul plane. How do the figures of Jesus and Satan fit into this framework? If we all originate from the soul plane, what power or force underpins the concepts of Satan? And how do we reconcile the existence and experiences of Jesus if Satan isn't real, or vice versa? Where does faith fit into all of this?
Knowing this fits. I understand what you're calling faith, but you don't really need faith if you understand how things work. You just know how they work. The idea of Jesus and Satan fit in as archetypal, symbolic representations energetically of the idea that the universe is a polarity between love and fear. And that's it. It represents love and it represents fear, because fear is the opposite of love, not hate. Fear is the opposite of love, in the sense that you feel disconnected from source. So the idea of Satan is just an embodiment in human consciousness as an archetypal form that represents the absence of the experience of unconditional love, which is the vibration of existence itself. And love is representative of the vibration of existence itself. So Satan is the idea of the rejection of existence, which can't happen because you can't cease to exist, from fear. And the idea of Jesus is the symbolic representation, and Krishna and Buddha and all of those ascended masters, representative of the idea of being in harmonic association with the vibration of existence itself. Does that explain it to you?
Yes, but like, where does the force, again, if you look at people that believe in like demons or Satan or anything, where does that force or that power come from if we all
it comes through them from source, because source doesn't care which way you go, because source is unconditional. You understand the meaning of that word unconditional?
Yes.
Well, if you understand the meaning of the word unconditional and understand that it's about love and fear, then you understand that polarity is part of existence. And therefore, source doesn't really have an opinion as to which way you go, because it's all capable of giving you lessons. Remember that when you return to your soul, you are in a state of balance, and you know, and you learn lessons from every experience that you've had. Whether you spent time in physical reality believing in demons and Satan and experiencing fear, when you go back into your soul state, your true state, your natural state, you understand why you may have done that, how it may have served others, playing off of you, and all sorts of things. It's like playing a role that allows polarity to be played out so the souls can grow and expand based on those lessons, based on those concepts of the play between love and fear.
Okay, one more, please. What key questions can I ask myself to better understand the root of my reactions towards others, especially in frustrating situations like dealing with inconsiderate drivers? And how can I align more deeply with the trait of patience towards them and others in similar situations?
Do you have frustration with young children who you know don't know any better yet?
Not really.
Then take that attitude toward those drivers. They are like young children who haven't learned that everything is an orchestration and can serve a positive purpose, who are simply out of fear and out of the sense of disconnection and out of a sense that they are not getting what fulfills them, are thrashing and lashing out and reacting in negative ways because they feel disconnected. So have compassion for them, to understand that they simply need to learn how to connect more to their flow so they can flow and understand that they are part of a big orchestration that is serving humanity in a variety of ways. And if you take that attitude, you will then look at them in the same way that you would look at a young child who is simply just learning how to thrive in physical reality. You wouldn't think of them as any less, and you wouldn't be frustrated by them, because you know they still have something to learn. They still have a ways to go. So open your heart and treat them with compassion. All right?
Fair enough. Thank you so much for your insights.
And if you do curse at them, forgive yourself. Teacher, any great master on your planet, such as Buddha or Jesus or Krishna
They were not about creating followers. They were reminding you that you are Buddhas. You are Christs. That's what has been misinterpreted. And therefore, by example, by thought, word, and deed, and living the example, do others then get attracted to your passion, your conviction of living that life, and want to know how you do that. Then you can share ideas and information and help them learn to be more of who they are. Not that they have to choose that, because you must allow them to choose whatever it is they ultimately decide to choose. If you want to be allowed to be who you are, you have to allow them to be who they are fully, with absolutely no insistence that they have to match your frequency at all.
Many names for the idea of what you call God: God, Goddess, Allah, Jehovah, Tetragrammaton, the Light, the I am that I am, Wakantanka. It doesn't really matter what it is that you use as a name to identify the concept of all that is. But it is important to understand that all of these names represent different archetypal expressions, different angles and different perspectives of the same one thing, so that all of your apparently separate religions, no matter how they present themselves, no matter how many symbols they use to represent the idea of God or aspects of God, are all talking about the same thing, but from different points of view that serve the uniqueness of the culture in which they live. But the idea is to understand that it all comes from source. It all is within the light. And the light, source, all that is, expresses itself in all these ways in order for there to be sufficient symbols for all the different cultural experiences on your planet, all the different individual experiences, even within a culture on your planet. As we have said, the misinterpretation of what you have called, in one particular Judeo-Christian culture, the Ten Commandments, are really the messages that were delivered in a very different way that have been misunderstood, misquoted, because of the level of understanding that existed in the culture at the time. And the so-called first commandment, I am the Lord your God, thou shalt not have false gods before me, really was a mistranslation and a misunderstanding of the idea that really would be more accurately represented as, I am that I am, and all reflections are me, therefore none can be false before me, for I am all that is. So the idea is to understand that all that is presents itself in a variety of archetypal forms: the father energy, the mother energy, God, Goddess, all that is, as you sometimes say. And these serve various functions and translate into your reality as, shall we say, smaller representations of all that is, that are specifically designed to deal with specific cultural differences, specific ideology differences, specific individual interpretations and differences. Fundamentally speaking, the archetypes are all that is way of making sure that no matter what angle you approach all that is from, you will have a symbol and a representation that can serve your unique perspective. They are all true parts of all that is, because there's nothing outside of all that is. Anything you can experience as an archetypal representation, or even when you assume it is the entire representation of all that is true and accurate, because all that is everything that can possibly be. There's no outside to it. There is nothing that is not it. So it doesn't really matter how you relate, what relationship you form with the idea of any presentation of all that is, any idea or formation of the idea of God, be it the old man with the long beard, Be it the idea of the Virgin Mother, be it the idea of a rock or a mountain. It matters not to all that is, because all that is all those things and more, beyond even your imagining. For all that is in its archetypal presentations also forms the symbols that are relatable to not only your particular human culture, but many cultures throughout the cosmos, throughout infinity. Anything and everything being a reflection of all that is has its own way of understanding the presentation of archetypes from source, has its own representations that make sense to their cultures. So there are an infinite variety of presentations of all that is, but it is still the same one thing fundamentally. But as you expand your consciousness and start to realize that all of these are different faces of the same thing, as many people on your planet have expressed, the 9 billion names of God are still representative of the same one thing in the holographic, multidimensional presentation that it can use to present itself. Then you start to allow those differences to sort of melt away, except for the parts you feel you need, and allow yourself to have a direct relationship, more directly, with source, without necessarily needing it to be anything but the light. And in that light, you feel the vibration of the eternal existence that it is, the vibration you translate as the unconditional love of God. This is the vibrational frequency of existence itself. It is unconditionally supporting, unconditionally loving. And the idea is that there is no judgment in this. There is no expression of the negative in this. So even when individuals in different cultures might express or experience the idea of negative or demonic experiences, you have to understand this is still all part of God, because there is the positive, there is the negative, and there is the neutral. These are the major archetypal energies, and they can be expressed in a variety of ways that can serve either positive or negative means. So allow yourselves to lessen the differences, in a sense, use them in whatever way serves you, use them in whatever way allows you to learn the lessons you need to learn for the agreements that you chose to experience, the challenges that you created for yourself in this life to learn who you are and grow in various situations. Again, using the positive and negative mechanisms in a variety of ways. For ultimately, again, when you return to spirit, when you remember more of who you are, it will just be an experience. You will experience the archetypal expression of your life, which is another archetypal expression, because each and every one of you is unique, and you form your own archetypes for others to connect to draw upon, to download information from and experience from, the archetype that you are of all that is, because everyone is all that is, experiencing itself as all of the individualities that you believe yourself to be. So you are also an archetype of all that is, an archetype of God, experiencing itself in a unique way, knowing itself from a unique perspective. There will be more about this concept in a future transmission, in a way that you can more readily apply in your physical reality experience. But for now, just let it settle into you that every single thing you see, every single thing you experience, in a sense, is an archetypal presentation of all that is, the trees, the rocks, the streams, the animals, the sky, the moon, the stars, the earth itself, are all different variations and different expressions of all that is of source of the light. And you, yourself, are also an archetype of God.
As I move closer in the line to get to this point, I could feel a shift in energy, And
All right.
I was perceiving that as I relaxed into it as a strong flow of loving energy that
All right.
seemed to be coming from you and all those who are
It is
with
coming
you.
from us, but the only reason you felt it is because you matched the vibration and are experiencing your own energy that way, and thus created the effect in your reality. So thank you for loving yourself enough to do that.
Thank you. And thank you to you and all who are with you for projecting that for me to experience.
You are welcome.
Earlier this year, around March or April, I happened to read an article that was about some ancient scriptures that had been recently discovered that spoke of Judas and suggested he did not betray Yeshua. And this was
Correct.
something that I had not any background and understanding
Yes.
of. And
In a sense, it was a setup.
okay. So immediately after I read this brief article, for approximately 10 minutes, I would say, I was immersed in a very strong flow of love, a sense of release, of joyful tears and love, relief, release, and it
Thank
was
you.
quite a joyful experience.
Thank you.
Even to the point I was jumping around the room,
All right.
joyfully and jubilant.
Thank you.
So, and about 3-4 weeks later, it was end of April, I was here speaking with you, and I asked you about Judas, and did he turn Yeshua in, and in doing so betray him? And you told me, no, Yeshua told Judas to turn him
Yes.
in. All right, and then the next day, I began working with an exercise you had given us. It was the spiral with the
Yes.
4 Ds.
Yes.
You expressed my desire to define my dedication to detach.
Yes.
And as I sat down to work with that exercise, just before I got involved with it, I made a connection to a conscious being. And this being identified itself as a son of Judas.
All right.
And asked me 2 questions.
Yes.
And I did not have the answers.
Then what were the questions?
The first question was, Yeshua told Judas to turn him in. Why did not Yeshua turn himself in?
All right. And the second question?
Second question is, what happened to Judas after that event took place?
Understand that the reason for having the appearance of being turned in was more powerful as a statement in the eyes of those around him to carry out certain aspects of the play. If you, shall we say in modern terms, write a movie and you have the hero simply turn himself over to the bad guys, is it not more dramatic to have someone betray him to the bad guys? Does it not resonate more strongly in the mythology to do so?
There seems to be on this planet a stronger resonance to that idea.
Yes. So it was something that people could identify with in a way that would cause the appropriate reaction or vibration to occur so the story could have the proper impact.
Okay.
Now, in that, he was asked to do something that was to him, in that sense, loathsome and contradictory to the love he felt for Yeshua. There was for Judas, even though he understood the part he was playing and understood the effect it would ultimately have and understood the benefit that could ultimately be derived from it, he had within himself the idea of self-loathing. And in that way you will find that the scenario of the hanging is accurate. He hung himself. Do you follow?
Is this within a week after, a year or 2 years after, or
It is not that long after.
within a day, or
Within the week.
because of, you say, self-loathing?
Yes.
I don't identify with just with that, or the people, his family and friends, attacking him in a sense, verbally or
No.
abusively, or?
The idea that he would understand the importance, that out of love he did what Yeshua said, but in doing what Yeshua said, in that sense, would put him through that torture. And simply couldn't live with having done it, even though he understood the importance of it. And wanted, in that sense, to join
Yeshua on another plane. Do you follow me?
So they both chose to move through in a what we would consider a tragic way, but
Yes.
to present their message in the way they felt
Because
would
they
most benefit.
understand the cathartic transformation that occurs in your society when presented with a tragedy that then ends in a transformation.
All right.
It has a much more powerful cathartic effect than the other way they could have done it.
Did he make the decision that he would end his life that way before he actually did turn Yeshua in, or did it
No.
come after and he just
After.
realized? Okay. And so the Son, the being that is communicating with me, the Son did not know that this occurred. I'm curious why he was asking me
To
what happened
rekindle
to my
in
father.
you and extract from you an ability to get back in touch with that particular vibration and energy, since you have familiarity with it.
With that type of circumstance or with that specific event?
Both.
And you said earlier when I read the article it was a setup, because
Yes.
why?
Well, a setup in the sense that it was organized, it was orchestrated.
An idea of coincidence.
Well, not meaning
incidents.
that, meaning it was orchestrated. In other words, that he asked him to do it.
Oh, okay. No, I mean when I read the article and I, okay, I understand what you're saying. Okay, I'm not clear as to my connection to this event. Could
You existed, or shall we say again, simultaneously coexist in that time frame. We're familiar with the proceedings going on, and it affected you. It impacted you in a very profound way. To come into this life and find out that those that were blamed are not to be blamed is a great release of understanding for you, and a great joy for you to understand that everything that was done was actually done out of love.
Okay. Can you give me an idea who I was in any, or is that for me to discover on my own?
You can, but giving you a name really wouldn't help. It is not someone in that sense you would be able to historically track down.
Any connection as a family or friend to these two?
Yes. In the sense of listening to the information, being a part of the organizations, shall we say, the groups, the philosophical organizations that understood what Yeshua was saying. You understand? The Essenes.
The Essenes.
Yes.
I was a part of the Essenes.
Yes.
Okay. And how small a group, what might have been the smallest size group I was?
About 50.
50. All right.
And you were in that sense crushed by what at that time you felt was a betrayal because you weren't let in on it.
Right.
Now you understand it wasn't, and great joy and release is yours.
Okay.
And it is calling you back, those questions, to get back in touch with that vibration so you can bring the joy of it into the present reality in whatever form works for you.
So I wasn't necessarily the son of Judas. It's just the
No.
consciousness of the son of Judas is
No.
not contacted me to bring this up.
Well,
in
understand, not literally genetically, understand that different groups were called son of this, son of that.
Got it.
You understand?
Yes.
You were a son of Judas that way.
Got it.
And so you felt that whom you had named yourself after betrayed the entire order and couldn't understand what happened. Now you do.
So this is the person talking to me now is potentially myself in that timeline.
Yes.
Okay. Understand.
And you have completed a cycle.
Got it.
And hence the great release.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bashar. Much love to you and all who are
And
with
to you as well.
Yes.
By the way, just as an aside, think about the modern translation of Yeshua in this day and age of your timing. The full name back then was Yeshua ben Yosef. What you would say is Jesus, son of Joseph. But Yeshua is actually more properly aligned with the name in your modern parlance of Joshua, rather than Jesus. Jesus, in a sense, is a Greek alteration. So, really, a modern description of the name of Jesus from directly
ancient times to modern times would be Joshua Josephson. This may seem like an aside, but there's a reason for this we cannot go into at this time. But it will become apparent to some later on as to why we bring this up. Next question.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
I've been having these experiences of, like, visual experiences, so I'm trying to understand them, so let me explain a little bit.
Thank you.
It's kind of like I can see a movie on a wall, and it's like a film strip. It's like a movie. And
Yes. Of what?
It looks like it's of other just communities, different things going on, and in between it's like space and galaxy and angels and
All
flying
right.
through. So it's kind of in and out, and it's getting to the point where I can see what I'm seeing, but I think I'm seeing parallel realities, or I've been told I'm processing information that I was not conscious of. And is it both, or is it? I'm
It's
trying
both.
to understand it.
You are having experiences you may not be completely conscious of and recollecting it this way, and you may also be crossing over into parallel realities where you're also having similar experiences. One may bleed into the other.
So it's a combination, because when you see these communities, I'm wondering if they're represented that way at all, or are they represented in any
Well,
way?
can you be more specific in describing them?
Like cartoons, a lot of it's cartoons, like cartoon communities where they look more animated and not like we are so much.
All right.
I see.
That may be an interpretation, although we are aware of one species we have referred to in the past called the Dilla that you might look upon as animated cartoons.
What do they look like?
They are sort of plasticky. The idea is that they are thin, they are malleable, flexible beings that can stretch and change form, of variety of brilliant colors. That might be, in some sense, a close approximation.
Like an animation moving quickly. It's
Yes.
always moving very quickly.
Yes.
But I've seen black and white and real stuff and
Yes.
babies, and someone else said hybrids and
Yes.
all that.
There are a
And-
lot of things lumped into those visions that you're having that represent different kinds of experiences on different planes at different times. And they're all being lumped into these photogenic films that you are perceiving.
Because they change. There's like
Yes.
space in between them, then you go into another one.
Yes.
And what else are they going to ask you?
And what can you make of this in terms of how can you use this and apply this in your life energetically?
Just accepting it and
All
being
right.
okay with it and not judging
right.
it good or bad. But I do see a lot of, when I go into them, I mostly see, and I'm really clear in my mind because the energy field's very heavy, so it's hard not to be, but like a lot of war and explosions. And
All right.
a lot of
Well, those are
destruction.
other realities as well as probable future ones. You are sifting through different probabilities, different experiences. You are in your own way, shall we say, helping to add energy to the ones that define the path of most preference out of all the probable ones that do happen, have happened, or could happen. It's your way of doing it. You have an unusual connection in this way. There are a few individuals from time to time that incarnate on Earth that come from different places and different times than most of the population incarnationally, and they have different ways of doing things. It is highly likely that one of the things you are seeing in those movies is actually a place you have a strong connection to and many different life experiences in.
And there's, I guess I interpret it as the destruction that's going on here with the collective consciousness is going on in many other parallel realities. So
Oh,
we
yes.
can connect through this way and see that they
Yes.
have wars, they have all
Yes.
these things as well.
Oh, yes,
And when we become
many
aware
other,
of each other, it
yes,
raises. Okay.
many other parallel Earth realities have taken themselves places that you will not. Many parallel Earth realities have had things like nuclear war and so forth. So you are sifting through all of this to determine the vibrations that brought them to those choices so that you can aid and assist this reality in making other choices.
All right, that answers it.
Does that help you?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
that he's fulfilled his journey here? Those are my questions. Thank you.
Yes, you choose those things. You choose the places to be born for your own reasons and for the lessons that you believe you need to learn to walk the path you have chosen to walk, to be yourself. Some people will choose to stay in the area. Some people will choose to move around. Some people will use it as a home base. But the idea is, yes, you choose the places you are born for your own reasons because they help you move in the direction that you really need to move if you use it that way. The information that we deliver through this channel will continue in a variety of ways. It can be put into many different forms and repurposed over and over again. And the idea is that the channel himself will also deliver more depth of a lot of the information that we have shared with you on his own in the form of classes and all sorts of other kinds of methodologies of putting out information. So the information will continue. And the information will continue until such time as contact actually occurs when we can share the information with you more directly. But it will continue in a variety of ways. So we cannot necessarily say exactly and precisely all the ways that that may occur, but the information itself is indestructible and can be output in a variety of methodologies that will reach different people who are waiting to hear it and receive it along a variety of different ways because of how they were oriented, because of how they are willing to receive energy and information. So it's up to the creativity and imagination and inspiration of those dealing with the information to find new ways to put it out there.
Hello, Tadeo.
Nania.
Have lots of great questions from our listeners today.
All right.
Okay, so the first question is, when we talk about open contact, I assume we are currently in a time of closed contact. But when you speak about our early history, it seems ETs and humans interacted openly then. When exactly did the ETs leave us and hence close our contact? And why did they leave?
We have never left. But the idea of observation as opposed to interaction became necessary when you reach a certain point in your evolution as a species to allow you the opportunity to grow, to discover, to self-empower without relying on ETs. The idea is then to see if you would evolve to a point where once again contact could occur after you had become more independent, more self-sufficient.
And in keeping with the Halloween spirit, after Atlantis fell, you have said that Noah was given instructions by ETs to build his boat. How many animals were on it, and how did they get along? And if Noah had not done so, does this mean that many of our current animals today would not exist?
First of all, there was more than one being that you are collectively referring to as Noah. There were many such vehicles that departed and went in different directions. This is why you have flood stories in almost every culture on your planet that are very similar to one another about a being in some kind of water vehicle that managed to survive the flood, carrying families and animals with them. So this happened in many different directions, and all of the different so-called Noahs, of course, who had different names, all landed in different areas. So the idea is, yes, had that not happened, there would be certain animals that wouldn't be among you today. But the idea is that there was a disbursement of many different kinds of species into different areas on your planet. And this was done by many different individuals who created many different kinds of crafts.
So I guess our version of it today is where we save all the DNA from all the different species so that if something cataclysmic happens.
Yes. And in some cases, some of the animals were, in fact, nothing more than DNA at the time.
Despite increasingly negative global behavior, people in my reality are raising their vibrations all the time. And it's so fun to see. I know this is a function of the splitting prism effect, but how might I experience further splitting despite conflict elsewhere growing?
Follow the formula. That is why we give it to you all. It simplifies things. It contains everything you need. It navigates you in the direction you need to go and constantly raises your frequency. Follow it as precisely as you can. That's all you need to do.
Okay, and are the hybrid children interested in our celebration of Halloween? That might seems exciting to be able to celebrate that with them somehow to this person.
In some senses, although it would not necessarily be experienced by them in the same way, since they can actually communicate with the spirits of the dead, literally directly. So a celebration of the idea of spirit is how they would mostly perceive it. Communication with and celebration of life with spirit is how they would perceive and express it.
And did the Greys have any equivalent to Halloween in their culture?
Well, remember that they used to be human. And
Right.
therefore, long ago, yes, they had something similar in their history, but not after they became the Greys, not after they mutated, no.
Okay. And at the Sedona event, you told a questioner that the entities encountered on any type of DMT enhanced experience were an astral version of the Greys. Does this mean that anyone taking that substance prior to the hybridization agenda would have encountered other beings or would have not encountered any beings at all?
Well, first of all, it takes a very specific dosage to encounter them because they exist at a very specific frequency that is commensurate with that dosage. Secondly, no one was taking DMT in the way that you are talking about it before the idea of the hybridization agenda. This was long ago that it began. Even though there were people experiencing certain forms of altering substances in nature, there was no specific dosage that anyone took that allowed them to encounter the astral Greys at that specific frequency until such time as the Greys showed up in your reality and became part of your archetypal consciousness.
Okay, can you explain what a black hole is and what's inside of it?
It depends on the type of black hole. Some of them can be gateways to other universes. Some of them can be concentrations of information. It depends on the type of black hole.
Okay. And we call the idea of spaceships ships or UFOs or flying saucers. What does your civilization call the vehicles you travel around the universe in?
Shakiri.
And at the recent Sedona weekend, you said your ship was above Bell Rock at an elevation of 1,000 feet. A few seconds later, it descended down to 700. Were any people able to see it, or was it invisible to everyone? And if it was invisible, do you use some kind of a cloaking technology?
We simply alter our frequency that is usually beyond the range of your senses. So it's not exactly a cloak in the way that you mean it technologically. It is simply a frequency that most of you cannot perceive because we are shifted into a slightly altered reality.
And were there people able to see your ship when you did that drop down to 700 feet, or was it?
There are those who might have been able to see it, but they were not present in the area.
And you said that there is an ET ship above Cathedral Rock in Sedona. I went there and sensed Arcturian energy. Can you tell us if there's an Arcturian ship above Cathedral Rock, and if not them, who is it?
There is Arcturus energy in the area, but they don't have ships as you understand the concept. It's more a projection of consciousness. So yes, they are present energetically, but it's not exactly a ship as you understand these things. Sirius is also involved, so are Pleiadians, and many others in the Sedona area.
Okay. And as we get closer to open contact, the splitting prism is becoming more and more obvious, with many more examples of very positive and very negative energy and behavior, which we can observe through glass walls. You've often described how at some point we won't be able to perceive those realities because they'll be too incompatible with our vibration. Mechanically speaking, are there certain specific deciding factors that determine when something of a very different vibration effectively vanishes from somebody's reality? And if so, could you name some of those factors?
One of the factors is whether or not it's still relevant for someone to perceive someone else that may be exhibiting a very different vibration. They may still contain within the overall formula of what they are energetically as a pattern, indications that they still need to perceive those kinds of attributes in another person for some reason of their own. It may be for the purpose of assisting that person. It may be for the purpose of getting a reflection from that person that they need in their own life. There can be many different factors that may allow someone to still retain the ability to perceive another, even though their vibrations may be very far apart.
Okay. And in connection to Halloween and the anniversary of the destruction of Atlantis, would a future Halloween be a pivotal point for our current timeline?
Yes, it will be, especially with the coming of the hybrids, and especially as humanity opens up to its spiritual side more strongly. We will, to some degree, talk about this in the upcoming transmission in your Las Vegas area.
Okay. This person is writing that they live in Israel and they're in a very challenging experience right now. And they're aware of the many realities and scenarios and how the importance of their reaction to them. But they want to know, how should they be reacting to these scenarios? What is my state of being to them? And do you have any messages for the state of Israel?
All we can say at the moment is to be cautious, to be aware that there may be certain things that are being done for reasons that are not necessarily absolutely clear. There may be hidden agendas in terms of why something is done the way it has been done. Agendas that would allow the world to see that area in a very different light. That's not necessarily positive. So the idea is to be aware and to be cautious of how you proceed to interact and to engage so that you can retain what you might call higher ground, ethically, energetically, morally, as you move forward to attain the balance that you seek. We are not allowed to say much about this, but this is what we are allowed to say. Some of the things that have been done specifically to get an overreaction so that things change in the eyes of the world in a way that is not necessarily a positive framing. We would suggest that you do not fall into that trap. Also, again, staying on course with the formula will help each individual who understands how to use it properly and precisely, and will give you the insight necessary to navigate yourselves and guide yourselves as you move forward in this situation and circumstance. But simply be cautious and understand why certain things were done specifically to get a reaction that would not necessarily be in your favor, should you act on them too forcefully, too broadly. That is all we are allowed to say at this time.
Along those lines of what you're saying, it seems like in business, there's certain areas of business where people feel it's okay to have very personal reactions to behavior. And then there's maybe another philosophy, which is that you always want to be in a centered space and not reacting similar to how high schoolers or junior high schoolers react to each other. In other words, the more balanced that you remain, even in business scenarios, when you're making decisions, is along the lines of what you're expressing, that you're going to make better choices if you're not reactive to the negative or immature behaviors of others. Is this accurate?
To some degree, yes, especially when the actions that have been taken have been specifically designed to get an overreaction.
Okay. Yeah, because that is one of the great benefits of what you've shared with us, that if you come from a centered space when you make decisions about how to respond, you will have a better outcome than if you just follow the normal ways that people can get reactive and angry and all of those.
One piece. So sometimes recently I've been very, very afraid.
Very
afraid
of?
Afraid of what might happen in the future.
Well, that's the easiest question to ask to reveal what the negative beliefs are that you're holding on to, that you think benefit you somehow. That's exactly the perfect question to ask. If I did, in fact, allow myself to be who I prefer to be and follow my passion in the way I would prefer to, what am I most afraid might happen?
Yeah.
That will usually reveal the negative belief. And then you have something to work with and ask yourself, well, why do I believe that to be true? Yeah. Why do I believe that it benefits me to hold on to that? What am I afraid of in terms of the alternative? Why do I have a definition of the alternative that's supposed to be my excitement that I would be defining as something negative?
Yeah.
Because again, that would instantly tell you that you don't have a clear definition of excitement. Because if you actually had a clear definition of your passion, you would understand that by definition, your passion cannot contain a negative experience. And when you say, well, I'm going to act on my passion, but if I do, something negative might happen, that's not a definition of your passion. It's a different definition that you're working with.
Uh-huh.
So you have to be very clear and precise about your definitions.
Yeah, thank you.
And when you hear things come out of your mouth or thoughts go through your head that sound like facts, you have to stop yourself and catch yourself and remember they're not facts. They're just opinions, perspectives, and beliefs, and they can be changed. Yes?
Yes.
Because when people on your planet say, well, everyone knows how difficult that is, no, they don't. It's not a fact. It's a fact that you believe it, but it's not an empirical fact unto itself that things have to be a struggle. That's just an opinion, a perspective, and what you've been taught, it's a belief that you bought into as true. And that's all it is. And those things can always be changed. The only things that can't be changed are what we call the 5 laws, the only 5 facts we have ever found in existence. You exist, everything is here and now, the one is all, the all are one, what you put out is what you get back, and everything changes but the laws. That's it. Everything else is a perspective.
Thank you.
Does that help?
It does.
Thank you.
I have a question about forgiveness.
Forgiveness, yes.
So when I decide I want to forgive someone,
Yes.
one method I reach for is imagining that they're doing the absolute best they can given their past and current circumstances.
Yes, they are.
Sort of
All of you are.
Yeah, like a forgive them, Father, they know what not they do kind of idea.
Kind of.
Kind of.
Yes.
But I notice that sometimes sets up in me a subtle like superiority of them, which is
Well, then you have to examine things within you that you need to forgive within yourself.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yes. I was going to ask, the question is, what is there a frame of reference I could use for forgiveness that wouldn't lead me down that path as much? Or is it just the one that you just said to forgive myself?
Well, again, you understand that some people may simply never have been taught the tools they need to express themselves in a more positive way. So you can come from compassion in the same way that you don't really hold a child to blame or responsible for something that they don't understand how to do better. Yes?
Yes.
You teach them how to do it better. Now, it doesn't mean they have to choose it.
Right.
But the idea is that you need to be the shining example that will allow them to know that at least there's an option for how they could be living their life more joyfully by seeing that you're doing it. Because generally speaking, when you see empowered people, you want to know how they're empowered. And you will want to figure out how to do the same thing for yourself. So teaching them the instruction manual, how it works, will at least give them the option. They may still be holding on to beliefs that won't let them abide by it or use it to their advantage, but you've done what you can, and what they do with what you've taught them is none of your business.
Right. I can have compassion for their experience and respect their choices.
And absolutely respect their choices, because you don't know what their path actually is.
No.
And you don't know what they really might need to go through in order to have a greater appreciation when they finally do understand how to transform.
Yeah.
All you can do is give them some options and be on your way.
Thank you.
Does that help?
That does.
All right.
And just in parting, what frequency are you reading in me?
Right now?
Yes.
Well, about 156,000 cycles per second.
Thank you very much.
You're
My
very welcome.
unconditional love to you, Bashar.
And you as well.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
I have two questions.
Yes.
One is about human death.
Human death?
Death, yes.
Yes.
I'm
What
sorry.
about it?
Seemingly, well, it relates to the negative beliefs. Seemingly human when we die.
Yes.
Human means Earth human. We have a lot of negativity beliefs.
About what happened?
About death.
Yes, I know.
And that might be creating a lot of disease or
Absolutely.
pain.
Absolutely. Because as we said, death is just waking up from a dream.
Yes, I understand that. But not many human doesn't. And it might be maybe you can help me to how to support who doesn't understand this concept or the mechanism.
Well, again, you can only give them the information based on your level of understanding, and you have to allow them to understand it or not understand it. But that's all you can do. It's something that can be explained. More and more people on your planet are beginning to investigate the concepts of what happens after you die and are realizing that you do continue, that there are many kinds of things that can be experienced in spirit, that it's really up to you to choose. More and more of that information is finding its way into your society. This is why you are realizing that subjects like so-called near-death experiences are becoming more and more well-known. Because people die, they go to the other side, they say, oh, this isn't so bad, and then they come back and say so. So there's a lot of information that people can find if they're interested in finding it. And you can be a part of that research and give them information and so on and so forth to the best of your ability, but that's just about all you can do.
So after we understand that how exactly transition is, then we don't have to have a disease or suffering.
No, not really. You don't have to.
Through the death.
No, you don't have to.
So we don't have to create.
We don't have it.
Yeah.
Our society has none of it.
Yeah, that's I imagine.
When it's time to go, we just go. Mm-hmm. Now, the idea, again, is you can also help people understand this by helping them understand that physical reality isn't real. It's just a dream. Mm-hmm. So if you start with the understanding of people becoming more lucid in the physical dream and understanding it's just a projection of consciousness, then they'll understand that death is really no big deal. Mm-hmm. Because in a sense, you're already dead.
Yes.
Because as I said, spirit is your natural state. Therefore, you're just pretending that you're not in spirit. So if you can understand that physical reality isn't real, the experience of it is real, but the solidity of it is not. Mm-hmm. And even your own physicists are beginning to understand this. It's just a projection. Mm-hmm. So the more you understand the illusionary aspect of physical reality, the easier it will also be to understand the reality of non-physical reality. You'll start to blend them together. There won't be so much of a difference between the two states. Yes?
Yes.
All right, so that's one way to go about it. What's your second question?
Related to that ending part.
Did you say alien?
No, ending part of your answer. That
Yes.
You said it to blending spirit and
Yes.
and I am experiencing a lot of this right now.
It's part of the symptoms of expansion of consciousness that you start seeing how unreal physical reality is and how real spiritual reality is.
And creating my reality, even the physical condition that from inside of me, inner part of me, that all, higher. Well, I don't like to say higher or the lower, but
it's all right. We understand what you mean by that.
Yes, the word is sometimes hard to explain.
That's a belief system.
Yes, I know. That's why it's hard.
That's a belief system too.
So I understand the concept of turning off, just to take off the light bulb, today's conversation. I have another belief system before you say, I hope that that much easy, just take.
You don't have to hope it. If you understand the concept, you'll know that it works. Knowing is way beyond hope and faith. You understand how things work.
Yes, and that understanding or knowing is automatically coming through my
That's part of the process of transformation on your planet at this time. So congratulations.
Oh, thank you. But it's just giving, right now I am a little bit, so human term, hard time of those merging two, and one side is the spirit or expanded consciousness, the way I live.
Yes.
Daily life, and also all the belief system I have in this identity of my human Mikiko.
Yes.
And those are just a belief system I accumulated in.
Well, it's a mask.
Yes.
It's a part that you're playing. Now, you at every level will still feel like your identity, your core identity, never goes away. You will always see yourself still as you. But the idea of Mikiko is just a part of the greater you. So when you expand into spirit, Makiko won't go away, but Makiko will be a part of what you are as a greater being. It will still be you. Yes?
Like a beach, but also beach contains the grain of sand, and Mikiko is a grain of sand.
Yes.
And it's still there.
Did you just call yourself a beach?
Well, I am beach in that sense, but I still have this, and then a multi-dimensional different being that you explained to the other questioner.
Yes.
I understand that, and then I can feel I'm having different dimensional experience
All right.
daily basis, but
There's no but.
yeah.
You see, when you say, I'm having this, and then you go, but, you're canceling what you just said. So why not just stay? I am having these wonderful experiences, and I know they will continue. And even if I discover something within myself because of the reflective mirror that is out of alignment with that, I know I will use it to my advantage and continue having wonderful experiences, because discovering something that's out of alignment is part of my wonderful experience. So there is no but.
Okay.
Yes?
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You are welcome. It's very important in these conversations to get you all off your butts.
I want to first thank you. This is my first Bashar event.
All right. Good day to you. Speak up and be bold so that all may hear what you have to say.
Okay. My first question when I first wrote that down was I wanted to get a more, move more towards my passion, or let me say what I felt was my life purpose. You explained that somewhat today, a little bit, where I think I got some of it, but
Yes.
the kit, can you just go over that just a little bit more, this whole kit thing that you were just referring to, the reflective ed, so I can get it clearly?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
So the activation formula, as we said, is that you act on your passion to the best you can. In other words, that means whatever contains even just a little bit more excitement, attractiveness, curiosity than any other option at any given moment, you do that one first. With no assumption, no insistence on where you think it's supposed to lead or why it happened that way. That's the activation formula. You do it to the best of your ability till you can do it no further, till either you cannot take it any further or the excitement wanes, and that will be enough at that moment. When you keep doing that every moment with every option that comes along, no matter how simple or grand it may be, if it's always the one that contains more excitement than anything else, do that to the best you can with no insistence on the outcome. That activates all the tools in the kit. The first tool is the driving engine in your life. In other words, it moves you through life, because if it is your passion, you are so excited and so energized to do it, nothing else matters, and you just keep doing it. You follow me?
I do.
So it gives you the energy, it gives you the drive to do it, because it's the frequency of your true self. You're aligned with it. It gives you the energy. It flows through you. The second tool is synchronicity, which is the organizing principle of your life. It will bring you the information and circumstances and opportunities you need in the order in which you need to act on them, by allowing them to contain more excitement than anything else, so that you recognize it's the first thing to act on. At the end of the day, when you are excited about being tired and going to sleep, whatever you didn't get done that day, if you were following the organizing principle as best as you could, didn't need to be done that day.
Okay.
Because it completely organizes everything you need to do when you need to do it. It's all about timing, not time. The next tool is it becomes the path of least resistance. It allows you to flow more easily in life, effortlessly in those things. Yes, of course, there will always be challenges. Yes, you might be doing some physical work, But as you say on your own planet, a labor of love is no labor at all. You enjoy what you're doing. It enriches you. It inspires you. It gives you a sense of grounding. It allows you to feel tangible connection to physical reality that you do these things. But it's still the path of least resistance. Many times when people think, oh, well, I just want to go from here to here, the straightest possible path. If that's not your path, if that's not the path that's aligned with you, then a path that winds around like this all over the place, but is actually the path of least resistance, will actually be faster than the shorter one, because the shorter one, if it's not yours, will be full of resistance and slow you down. So it becomes the path of least resistance. You start to trust the synchronicity that it takes you where you need to go. You follow that thread of passion in whatever form it comes, because that is the path of least resistance, because it's the energy that's most harmoniously aligned with you. So there is no resistance. Then it becomes the path that connects you to all expressions of excitement in your life that are relevant for your theme of exploration. Sometimes you may be doing one thing and it might look completely different from something else that may excite you, but if you act on the one that excites you the most to the best of your ability, if it is connected to the other one, it will lead you there eventually, or give you what you need by the time you wind up doing this other thing. It is a timing dance, it's a choreography, it's an orchestration. All the things you need to do that are representative of your truth, of your vibration, of your path, of your excitement, will be done in your life in perfect timing. They don't all have to happen at once. You don't need to create this schedule of rush, rush, rush. I need to get this done because I'm going to miss something. I'm going to run out of time. No, it all orchestrates itself in perfect timing and connects you to every expression that you need to express in this life in order for you to feel fulfilled. It brings you whatever kind of support you need in life. Whatever form of abundance you need, be it the idea on your planet of money, if that is necessary, or a gift, or synchronicity, or some other form of abundance that will support you in your ability to continue to act on your excitement. Because as we have said, our definition of abundance is simply the ability to do what you need to do when you need to do it. And pay attention to the fact that I didn't say it's the ability to do what you want to do. I said it's the ability to do what you need to do, because what you need in life is actually what will fulfill you. Sometimes your wants and your needs may coincide, but very often, if you are a little bit confused within the ego structure, something you think you want that will make things better may not actually be what you need. But if you always want what you need, your life will be fulfilled, because what you need will always come to you through the synchronicity. So abundance will be there to support you in whatever form or combination of symbols it needs to be there in order to support you to the degree that you can continue to do what you need to do to act on your excitement when you need to. Then there is the reflective mirror, as we said before, that always brings up, as you're traveling forward, something that says, wait a minute, you've gotten to a point now where your energy is such, on your higher vibration is such, that you can now handle me telling you that there is something within your belief system that's out of alignment with who you really prefer to be. So stop what you're doing, take a moment and realize that this is the most important thing you need to pay attention to right here and right now, because by paying attention to what that negative belief is that's out of alignment, finding out what it is, letting it go because it makes no sense, it doesn't serve you, is what will allow you to flow your energy through more positive belief systems and expand your ability to accelerate forward in your passion and in your excitement in life. And then the idea is that if you always remain in a positive state, knowing that everything happens for a reason, then even if something manifests that you don't neutrally, objectively prefer, if you use it in a positive state, you will be learning from it something that will serve you. You'll get a beneficial effect from it, and that will allow you to use what you don't prefer in a way that you do, remembering, as we said, that it doesn't really matter what happens, it only really matters what you do with what happens, and that's what makes all the difference, and that is the entire instruction manual. Does that help you?
It does. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
One question.
Yes.
I'm finding that a lot of times in deep meditation, I am crying a lot.
That's all right. Understand that every time you hold on to a negative belief, and a positive one, but this concerns the negative ones.
Okay.
Because you are expressing yourself as a physical being, yes? You have a body that in your reality you say is made of chemicals, yes? Atoms, molecules, Chemistry, yes? Well, every time you have a particular belief that you're holding on to, you're rewiring your neurology in your brain to create paths for that belief to exist, but you're also creating chemical constituents, chemical representations of that belief in your body. So when you are finally willing to be in a state where you don't need those negative beliefs, where you're letting them go, how are they going to get out of your body? They wash out through your tears.
I see.
That's tears of release. You understand?
I do.
Because when you go into those states, you can't hold on to those chemical components that represent negative beliefs. There's no place for them. So they have to escape from your body. They will flow out through your tears. They can flow out through perspiration and other ways as well. But most common is they will flow out through your tears. Yes?
Yes.
Does that help you?
It does. Thank you very much.
You are so
I
very
appreciate
welcome.
it. Okay.